Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. It is Social Surge with Flying Mo, just going live on the gram. Today, we are going to be talking about Deal Forum and why got a front row seat. She's going to fill us in on everything that she learned at the Real Deal Forum. Good morning, Holly Pennington. I hope you're feeling better. Good morning, Regalata Real Estate. Thanks for joining us over on the gram. And your mic's off. There you go.
Classic tunes right now. I like we haven't had that one in a while, and it's a little like John Mayer guitar action. I'm really into it.
Kind of.
What you can't see right now is I've got my swag.
Nice.
My forum shirt. And then I also, you want to know what? I really need a sponsorship from these people.
Blowfish?
Blowfish. It's basically like millennial Alka-Seltzer.
Really?
Listen, it's just for hangovers. So I just will be open and honest with the fact that I was out until 2 a.m. last night.
She was partying it up.
Well, you want to know what? I was about to say when in Rome, but when in New York City, because holy cow, I love New York. Dwayne.
Okay, so a momentous occasion happened yesterday. The worlds collided. URL to IRL. Mr. DB and Miss Fly finally met. And does he or does he not give the best hugs?
Oh, it was the best hug. It was so good. And look, Dwayne, okay, first of all, Dwayne and I did meet one other singular time, but it was forever ago. It was before you and I were even really kind of, doing anything together, when I went to the map room opening. After CREI, and he was there. And what was so great was people are introducing me to people and, whatever. And then every time that somebody would, look at how good this is going to make me feel. This is nice. Every time, I'm just gonna be honest about it, right? Because the other version of this is that I didn't do the show today. So, every time somebody would try to introduce Dwayne to me again, which was just funny also. They were like, oh yeah, he's the guy. He's great. He's the guy. And you want to know what? Dwayne is the freaking guy. And so, but I haven't seen him since then. And so yes, Dwayne went out of his way to come down to be near the Metropolitan Pavilion, which is where the Real Deal Forum was yesterday. And you want to know what? I heard and learned and talked to so many people yesterday about so many things, because I am still learning a lot about this business. But Dwayne and I had a really good, real, awesome conversation. And Dwayne Burress Sr. is the real frickin' deal. That's all I got to say about that.
He's the air rights king, dude. He knows so much information about land development in New York City. And it's just amazing. Just the knowledge that he has. We got the opportunity to meet in real life at the gala. Actually, not at the gala. We met. Yeah, he came down to Corey's office, Corey Zelnick, and we recorded Cup of Joe live there. And he was our studio audience. He and What the Heck were our studio audience that morning, right? It was a lot of fun, but it's great when you have these connections, and then you finally get the opportunity to meet in real life. And it's I know you. We have talked so many times. It's just a lot of fun. And then, so yeah, Dwayne is just one of those, just one of those guys that has if you need that knowledge, that's the dude that you need to go contact. If you actually happen to hear kids screaming,
tell me to mute if it gets bad, because I'm in the business room of a hotel somewhere in Manhattan, and on the 24th floor, it wasn't working for me. So I had to come down here. So just let me know. And it's laggy, and I'm so sorry. I didn't want to cancel the show today. So
Dr. Hamaj has joined us over on the gram. Good morning, Dr. Hamaj.
Hi, Dad. Great. Hi, Dad.
She's alive.
Am I really laggy too? Is it bad?
No, you're fine. I can hear you just fine. You're a little frozen on the screen, but you're fine. Everything's fine. It's great to see you both this year. Thank you so much for what you're both saying. Of course, when you tour in New York City, I'm there. And DB. DB, you're going to make us blush. You're going to make us blush.
Need the driving and brokers like with coffee, like you, because you drive all over the city. You just drive and look at sites. Just put a camera. Sorry, I'm tangential. Just put a camera and just start filming, right? Because like DB, I swear, we were sitting outside. I don't know what street we were on, 18th Street, or listen, I don't know where. I gotta look at the tracker. But I was like, just listening and watching DB talk about the city and the business and all this stuff, and then like all like the buildings in the background. And you guys know I think in content. I just live my life like one big long, content series, right? So, but I just like could see it. I'm like, yeah. And you want to know what? It's a shame that I didn't whip out the camera and just do it. But honestly, sometimes like
being in the moment.
Yeah, sometimes the content is just for you. But holy cats, Mo, I did the live tweeting. Okay, wait, I actually wrote a whole show outline for this. So maybe, can you take the wheel? Can you get us back on track?
Yes. All right. So we're going to be talking about the top brokers of the Real Deal, the social panel, what they agreed on, and the one word that nobody said, Jeff Blau and hyperscalers and the protesters. We've got to talk about that. TRD's PolicyPro, institutional intelligence for CRE, which again, that's interesting. Engagement data that taught you the same lesson that the panel was teaching live, and what first timers should actually do differently next time. So let us know, one, what made you go to the Real Deal Forum? Because you were just in New York City, and what were you actually there to do?
Well, when we were here a few weeks ago for the gala, and then we were at the Real Deal event prior to going up to the top of Hudson Yards for the gala itself, I had a chance to talk with a couple of people on the staff. And I've said it before, sort of like in a funny, like silly marketing girl kind of way, that like I really love the Real Deal. I love the graphic design, the overall vibe and like aura. Like the Real Deal has so much riz. But I mean, when you actually get into the journalism and you actually get into the reporting and what their mission is as an institution, it is so much in alignment with the things that I care about in my own work, especially in the. And I mean, when I say my work, I mean like not just like the work I'm doing now with you and like what we're trying to do for people, but going all the way back to even in the beginning of my career, when I was in the arts and entertainment business, and just like positive representations of stories that are otherwise not being told. And so I like these guys. Anyway, so I had an opportunity to come back. And, I'm now in the third year of being in commercial real estate, and I know that there is so much I still have to learn. And I just really like New York City. So, I mean, that's really it. And you know what I mean? And honestly, you want to know, look, like I'm in business development. I'm here to start relationships. That I am here to talk to people. And then when I started looking into it, I was like, I absolutely needed to be at that power breakfast, because holy cow, like, it was very interesting to be there. So that, I mean, and just, that just wanted to eat ramen.
So the power breakfast, did they have people talking there, or was it just like a networking event?
It was like, so what was interesting also just in terms of the format of the event, there was the main event and there's talks and stuff. And then like the power breakfast was like an add-on thing. And so was the after party. And so it was like a special add-on thing. And it was like networking in the beginning. And then eventually like a half an hour in, everybody settled down. And there was actually a panel. People, I mean, look, I mean, like the people, I'm going to openly scroll through my notes. Jade Chan from Douglas Elliman Selling the City, Peter Zaitsev with Surhand, Maggie Wu, who's with Compass, and then Samir Mizrahi, who is Zillow Gone Wild. Do you know about this?
Yes.
Zillow Gone Wild. Oh yeah. And so, everyone was yapping, and then when they sat down on the stage, everyone like shut up and sat up straight.
That's interesting, because usually you have a lot of people still talking.
No, everyone was listening, because as opposed to some of the later things where people weren't listening, and I was kind of mad. But listen, I mean, I think that we are beyond the point of understanding that what we do here is very powerful for the kind of visibility and revenue that this can bring. When you post on social media and still so many people just aren't doing it, right? Like we are beyond the point of, like, personally, me, I'm done. Like, I'm not trying to convince people anymore to do it. If you don't want to do it, I'm not wasting my time, because there are so many more fish in the sea.
Well, it's not even that. It's the fact that, like, you're gonna, what I do for a living, and then you're gonna come up to me and shit on my salad, right? Like, I don't have time for this, and I'm not gonna waste the brain cells to convince you why you need to be, because I'll go work with the broker that actually wants to win.
Yes. Ooh, I'm gonna steal that for the next time. Well, look, okay, so, but, like, look, what was interesting in the beginning of the conversation, it's also interesting because, the one thing that I will say is that they're overall at the event and across the vendors and, in the expo for it, everyone, I mean, we're talking luxury. Like, the people at Sirhan, they're not selling commercial. You know what I mean? Like, primarily they're focused on luxury, right? And some of that gets into the multifamily and, like, things and yada, yada, yada. But you tell I've been spending a little too much time in New York.
Yada, yada, yada.
So, I don't exactly know the makeup of the room in terms of, like, the people who were listening, but this is what I can say is that all of them are most of them are on LinkedIn. There was, like, a few people on Instagram. Obviously we know that the residential is very focused on the Instagram. Not a lot of people on X, which
surprising in the room.
So surprising, because, like, the investors are on X. The developers are on X. You know what I mean? I was just like, people. I mean, I was behaved. I was trying to make a spicy comment, but anyway, but they were all on LinkedIn. Yep. And at some point, then her name was, I think her name was Hannah. I can't remember her last name, who was actually hosting the panel. She did poll the audience, and she was like, how many of you are actually getting business from that? And it was like crickets. And I was like, You
didn't raise your hand?
Well, no, I was like I was off to the side and trying not to pretend like I was anything more than what I was. But, I was just trying to observe. So it's like there still somehow remains this gap between people. And this is the gap that we're trying to close. There is this gap where people can see other people winning business, and they are also in the same places, but there's the gap of, like, how they're actually doing it. Okay. Right. So the main things that they talked about, I'm going to pull up my notes again. I should have notes every time. I'm still going to be tangential. So
it wouldn't be our show if it wasn't tangential. Also, We Capture Media, thanks for joining us over on the gram. If you're in New York City and you need somebody who does videography and can meet you at events, definitely connect with We Capture Media.
Oh, yeah.
Fabulous people to work with. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they do great. They do great stuff. So what I loved, just personally, and again, like, this is, they just were saying all the stuff that we say all the time.
Right.
Pretty much all the panelists were like, I wasn't sure if I wanted to get on social media because I wasn't, like, I'm not trying to do an impression of any particular person, by the way. Afraid of what people will think. Don't want people in their personal business. Not sure what you're going to say. It's going to take too much time. Don't know how to use the tools. Can't be consistent. Every single thing that we always talk about. And then they just kept going. They hired a team. They figured out the right balance between, like, personal, sharing personal stuff and business stuff, and underlining the fact. Two things to underline here. That,
okay, hold on real quick. Kevin Crone has joined us over on the gram. Good morning,
hi,
Kevin.
Kevin. Sorry, thank you.
Yeah.
Don't just post sold, just listed sold, just listed sold. That's what they were very much about. It's a conversation, it's authenticity. You're talking to people, right? Everything we always talk about. And then the other thing that I was really glad that they underlined as well, was, Marcy went fly fishing? What? Okay, hold on.
He's in Santa Fe. Good morning, Moneypenny.
Something that they underlined as well was that the cycle, the relationship cycle, the you know, like client journey is, you know, somebody did 10 deals last year with someone that they, you know, have been just that they've been following them for a long time. Then maybe it's not 10 deals last year. Maybe it's 10 deals total. I don't know. I was taking all kinds of crazy notes.
There's
but what I'm trying to, yeah.
There's credibility. So you can so you're specifically talking about you're talking about Jade Schenker?
It wasn't Jade Schenker. It was Jade Chan, somebody else, not with Sirhan. With Douglas Elliman.
Oh yeah, you have that up there, and I totally biffed it. So
it's okay. You want to know what? When I was in the room, I was like, it's not. I was like, it's Jade, but it's not Jade Schenker. It's Jade, but it's not Jade Schenker. Don't worry.
But that's the thing, is that like there's a certain credibility that comes when you show up consistently and you show up on multiple platforms, right? So if you start seeing somebody show up in Commercial Observer, The Real Deal, they're writing there, and then all of a sudden they show up on CNBC, or they get Fox. I don't know. Fox does finance. I'm assuming they do. I don't know what it's called. Fox Money. I don't know. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
That sounds like a. Anyway.
They show up on TV.
Earned media. Yeah.
Earned media, right? Like it's that earned media that just keeps compounding. And your social media compounds constantly. There was something that Aviva said. It's actually really brilliant. They redid our podcast from 2024. So I was on Aviva's podcast in 2024. They redid the podcast, cut it down to 11 minutes, cut out all the stuff that had to do with 2024, because that's what we were talking about. Fox Business. Thank you. And she said, I can do a post, go to sleep, and my social media is working for me. It compounds. And everybody in commercial real estate understands the compounding effect. So why wouldn't you start building brand or start doing something on social to have that work for you? And the way that agentic search is working right now, you need all of that, right? It has to be there. Okay, I'll let you go. I'll let you fly.
Well, no, because that was okay. Like they were going to pass the mic and like do questions and all that stuff, but they didn't get a chance to, because everyone, you know, was just like really, they were just talking, you know what I mean? And so I wasn't able to ask the question about AI specifically, which was, you know, with how, I mean, I wrote it down and texted it to you, right? I'm not going to look for it now. You know, now that AI is surfacing, you know, information and results from social media, especially LinkedIn, X, and YouTube, what are you or your teams doing to make sure that your content is optimized to be at the top and visible in those results? And I didn't get a chance to ask that question. You know, I would be very interested in the answer. The fact that it was not even mentioned as a part of the panel at all. I hope I didn't freeze. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yep, you're good.
Okay. The fact that it wasn't mentioned as a part of the panel at all, just like, would, you know, listen, I don't need to get into that further, but the fact is that like you and I know that is happening. In addition to everything that they talked about to that room of people is 100% the thing that you need to say to a human to connect with humans on social media. But like people, I need people to wake up, because what's happening now is also you got to talk to the machines. You got to talk to the machines. You got to talk to the machines, right? You got to talk to the people and the machines. And if you need to figure out how to do that, you got to talk to Mo.
Well, that's actually that you got to talk to the machines. That is a post in of itself right there. I used Notebook LM. That was one of the things that we went over in at Social Media Marketing World. One of the sessions I went to specifically said, you know, this is how I do, like, basically this is how I do my stuff. I take notes, or I voice record, or I have a memo or something like that, and then I drop it into Notebook LM. And I have it create everything for me from that. Whether, if you haven't played around with Notebook, I haven't even scratched the surface of it yet, just because I'm actually using Claude a lot more. I still use Chat. Chat's still my bestie, but I'm using Claude. And one of the guys that commented on my post last night, I did actually, Miss Allison Weiss, shout out to Allison, had this really funny, just super silly prompt for ChatGPT, write me an unhinged bio, right? And it was super, super funny. And my bio is actually really, really accurate, even down to like crocheting stuff, which is really funny. But one of the guys said, and this is a great tip for people who are having issues running into limits on Claude. Hello, me. He actually goes and puts all of his prompts into ChatGPT. So he has ChatGPT create the prompts, and then he takes them into Claude and runs it, so that he's not wasting anything through Claude. I was like, wow, that's actually pretty damn brilliant. Like,
actually, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, you're good. You're good.
I was just gonna say, I just reduced I was on like the Max Pro. I was throwing like $200 at that guy every month. And then I was like, I think I could probably knock it down to 100, but I didn't ask him because I was like, I didn't want him to think I was like breaking up with him or something. You know what I mean? I was just like, but I know I'm not using all my tokens. And also I'm just not doing a bunch of like AI R&D, anymore. Right. So,
right.
Anyway,
they're not talking about AI. They're not talking about how AI, social, online presence, earned media all plays together. So that was a big surprise to you. And then tell me about Amir and Jeff Blau.
Okay, so can I just say something?
When have you not said something?
A lot of times. Amir Korangy is funny as hell. He's so funny. He's just like, he is so funny. That's all. And like on stage, I was live tweeting because I committed to you that I was going to do the live tweeting of the
and
day.
You did a fabulous job.
I had so much fun. Yeah. And I've done it in the past and I just haven't, I haven't done it lately, but he had so many one-liners in his opening speech. And then when I ran into him in the hall later, on in the day, I was like, I didn't tweet the fact that you said that you can subscribe to The Real Deal while you're sitting on the toilet. And he said that into the room in front of all those people. Okay. Anyway, so he's great. Like, listen, all the people at The Real Deal are just fantastic people. And, and the opening, so the opening session of the day, the sort of like, I don't know if you want to call it a keynote. I mean, like there was so many, like Steven Seagal spoke, Sue Kim spoke. There were so many, somebody from Donnie's, housing authority office spoke. There was a lot of really heavy hitters in that room. And one of the mistakes that I made that I will, I don't know if we're going to get to that portion of the program today, but it's just like, I could have easily got paid an extra $100 to be in the VIP room. And I didn't because I wasn't sure kind of what it was going to be like. Big mistake, huge. Anyway, so the opening session was with Amir Korangy and Jeff Blau. And so just a brief on Jeff Blau for probably I'm the only one who doesn't really know this, but he's the CEO of Related. And he Hudson Yards is one of his properties, just as an example. He's got a multi-million, I hope that number's accurate, dollar portfolio. They're doing stuff all over the country. And now they apparently what his nickname is Data Center Blau. Because they're doing, so, I mean, the conversation that they had, and again, like I said, one of the reasons I went is because the marketing stuff, great. The this community, great. What we're doing here, I'm so committed to, and it's it's important. And then also for me, one of the reasons that I feel like we have so much success is because we really understand the broker. We really understand commercial real estate. You and I are immersed in this business, right? And I still have a lot to learn. And so really, that was a part of the reason for me, because we got clients in New York, right? It was like, I want to know more about what's actually going on, because I do actually care about what people are trying to do in terms of we're not just selling buildings to make money. You know what I mean? We are, don't get me wrong, but it's we're trying, everyone that we know is trying to make the world a better place.
Right. Yeah. It's really surprising when you talk to people who do particularly multifamily, when they talk about that, or, once you become immersed in this industry, it's amazing how, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'll probably say it next week. Everything is commercial real estate.
Oh yeah.
Everything.
So, just a couple of notes on some of the things that stood out to me from that conversation before we talk about the protesters, which this was very interesting.
I'll shut up because I want to ask a question about the protesters.
That's fine. So one of the things that Amir highlighted about, sort of like the real deal and the event and like the mission of what they're trying to do is that, I hope this is right. Oh my God, this was chicken scratch when I was writing this stuff down. So 120-ish covers of the New York Post, since the beginning of the year. Of those covers, like covering what's going on in New York City, only 8 of those headlines were positive. And most of them were about the Knicks. And so the story that is being told to New York City and to the world about New York City is not a positive one.
Okay.
And I'm particularly interested in that, but so it's just like a part of what they're trying to do is.
Now, do you think that's because of the old adage, if it bleeds, it leads? People will actually read.
Yes.
And this actually is going into the psychology of things, right? Because it's, if you don't understand news and you don't understand media and publishing, when I worked in radio, if it bleeds, it leads. That's why we always led with the nastiest, grossest, most disgusting, most horrifying story.
Filthy,
right? Because if it bleeds, it leads, and that's what people. And this is what we bring to social, right? Because both of us understand this freaking concept, and obviously the real deal does too. Because if you look at those numbers and you look at negativity sells. Now, I'm not saying that you need to be negative all the time. However, you do have to point out the shit that is happening. And yes, Russell, Knicks, they won.
Yeah, we love the Knicks. This is great. But it's just like, yes, and then I hope, I don't know what you got to do right now. It's normally the time that we get off, but like I would like to keep talking if that's
You're
possible.
fine. You're good. I don't have a meeting until 8:00. So
perfect. So, but just on the topic of that, I mean, like again, like when we get into the kind of stuff that actually works on works and performs on social. I mean, it's the same kind of stuff, right? Like, the
salacious hook.
I mean, I love it. It's a yum, yum, yum. Like, give me a little curiosity gap. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, just bait me, baby. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be baited. But anyway, so, there they are. Amir Korangy, Jeff Blau, and Jeff Blau, the nicest guy, just like composed, compassionate, clearly the best at what he does. And so interesting and refreshing to hear him talk about what they're doing, why they're doing it, how they're doing it, et cetera, right? And, and so, because for developers, and it's just like, look, I mean, like, we're very close with Zach Molzer, right? Like he's building in public, like he's showing people, behind the curtain, and then, but people don't understand that, there are real decisions that have to be made that have financial things that are associated with them. I can't tell if you froze or if I froze. I'm just going to keep going.
You're good. I think you froze.
So just as an example, one of the things that he brought up was, like people care about the environment, right? Like people care about, you put up a skyscraper in the middle of a city where a bird usually flies. They're going to, like, there's issues with like birds, like flying into glass and dying, you know what I mean? And so it's like, there are things that you can do and change and install and use in a building to prevent it from injuring the birds. And, he pointed out that, on a property, like the properties that he's building, that would cost an extra $2 million. That would cost an extra $2 million to install the bird glass, right? And so it's like, and then, would you, I think that this might be a paraphrase, but rather have bird glass or more affordable housing? Would you rather protect the birds or have more affordable housing? Because it's all very well and nice to want to protect the birds. I love the birds. I've been having a great time with the birds in this city, you know.
The birds
right?
work for the
But it's
bourgeoisie.
well, and just don't get me started about the birds, but bird conspiracy. But I'm serious. I'm just like, you know, people don't understand. And that, so then when they're like, oh, let's protect the birds. And then, but we can't, you know, we can't afford it. We can't afford to live there. These, you know, Jeff Blau is the kind of person who is, you know, having to make those decisions. And either way he goes, he's going to, you know, he gets a bad rap. Do you know what I mean? And that's just one specific example, you know, and, you know, it's interesting to hear him talk about, you know, how, you know, like what is it like now with the current administration on a city level? You know, there's been a lot of changes in this city in the last 6 months.
Yeah, we Corey and I actually discussed yesterday on Cup of Joe, I believe it was yesterday, how Mom Donnie actually showed up in front of a developer's apartment and like pointed up to it and basically like this was like live and like basically like doxed him. Like,
see, that's
yeah,
insane to me. I'm not even gonna stop swearing now because I want to know what I feel like. Maybe I need to move to this city, but there was somebody from Mom Donnie's office at the Real Deal yesterday talking about how like we're all on the same team, and I'm just like, okay, I don't want to get into that. All right, I don't want to get into that.
Okay, real quick, we have Lindsay Barden who joined us over on the gram, as well as JPap, Jonathan Papica, has joined us over on the gram. We're talking about Fly being at the Real Deal yesterday. She live tweeted the whole thing, but right now, let's get to the protesters because I was really surprised. I was surprised that there was protesters. You have to fucking pay to get in there. Like,
yeah,
what?
You want to know what? Here's what I have to say, and I, you know, Amir, maybe you need to raise your ticket prices, baby. I don't know. I mean, look, it was a very affordable ticket when you consider all the things, like, you know, and you want to know what? I think the sponsors put in a lot. You know what I mean? The sponsor, the expo floor, on my X. I did a whole walkthrough with my meta glasses, my remaining meta glasses. And that doesn't, and I have more pictures that I'll post them and all that stuff. But like look, I got so much. Look, these hats are not cheap. I hope I'm not frozen.
You're not frozen. You're the hat lady, not the bag lady. The hat lady.
I was not expecting the hat game to be so strong. And like
anybody have socks?
No, actually, maybe. I don't look for the socks. I don't, you know.
I like socks. Me
right,
and
Robin.
Yep.
Okay, so anyway, I just throw them. I can't be too conspicuous. I'm in a lobby of a hotel. So anyway, the expo floor was really great, and you know, it was a very nice event and all that stuff. But yes, the protesters, you know, I mean, like, look, to just get a ticket to the event is like $175 or something. It's not that much money. It's not that much money, especially if you're trying to do some kind of play. And so I can't, you know, at some point, it was a little bit earlier on in the presentation, a guy kind of towards the front, like got up and started talking over them and was like filming and kind of stuff. And then, Amir's trying to like, you know, tell him, hey, this isn't the time or the place, man. And you want to know what? I think this says so much. I'll get to this at the end, but like at no point, you know, the audience was a little less, let's just put it that way. But at no point did Amir like, oh, you've gone. Oh, you're here?
We're here.
Sorry.
Yep.
Are you here? Wait. Okay. Yes. All Amir had to say to them was that this isn't the time or the place. Please don't do this. Please don't do this right now. This isn't the time or the place. A lot of people have paid a lot of money to be here and listen to this talk. Please don't do this. This isn't the time or the place. This essentially was his message to them. And so, you know, the first one was escorted out.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, people kind of regained their composure. And then maybe not even 5 to 10 minutes later, there was another one that got up and did the same thing. And then another 5 to 10 minutes later, a whole group of them came up again, and they were shouting like, shame on you, shame on you. And then you know, it was kind of hard to understand, and there was a lot going on, and honestly I was a little bit nervous. About, you know, okay, what's going to happen next.
Right.
So I'm just kind of, yeah. And, you know, anyway, so, but nothing bad happened. But yeah, I mean, just like, look, like people are upset, you know what I mean? Like they're, you know, because it's really, really hard. It's really hard to live anywhere. It's really hard to live in this city, especially, you know, and it's just very interesting. You know, I think that people, you know, I will be interested. I'll get to it, but you know, I am interested to learn more about what exactly it was, because, you know, it kind of started when Jeff Blau was talking about how Hudson Yards is 100% leased. You know what I mean? And it's all commercial. Yeah, baby, Hudson Yards is 100%.
Do you know what Beth says about places that are 100% leased? Do you know what Beth says? Beth Azor says about places that are 100% leased?
No,
you need to raise your rents.
I'll tell Jeff.
She's like, if you're 100% leased, your rents are too low. I was like, okay. Damn. Okay.
Oh God, what a killer. Okay, anyway, so we have not one, not two, and then a whole gaggle of them they're yelling, shame on you. And then also it was like women. And so it's like, look, when it's a dude, you can kind of strong arm them, you know, but it's like, there was a bunch of women too. And then, so they got taken out, they got let out. And then like 5 minutes later, like there was another one. And I was just like, holy shit, you guys, this is like a coordinated attack, you know? And I'm like serious. We're so lucky that it was just words. But again, the whole time, you know, Amir, you know, Jeff was very composed. Jeff didn't say anything. I'm sure that Jeff Blau has been heckled before. Right. You know, and I am so proud of the character. Like I'm proud, I'm just proud of Amir, because he was just like, this isn't like, we can't do this right now. And, and then I had several okay, first of all, I'm here sitting, tweeting, trying to talk about the good shit that's going on stage at the event. And everybody else, I was so fucking mad at these people. Everybody else in that room was just listening to people talk, but holy shit, did they whip their phones out when the protesters started, so they could just have a little video of the protest that they could put on TikTok. And I'm just like, this is a part of the fucking problem, is because you're gonna do this and you're gonna get a bunch of likes on your little TikTok. And I saw some being like, didn't expect this at a New York real estate event. I'm just like, you're disgusting. I'm just like, I'm out. Sorry, I'm pissed. You know what I mean? Because I am out here trying to do what those guys are trying to do up there, which is tell a story and get the message out. Because then you want to know what all over TikTok all people see is that the protesters were there. And that's what they fucking wanted. That's what they wanted. Excuse my French. I am a little agitated about that. And listen, later when I was talking to Jeff Weinberger, the president of The Real Deal, about a lot of stuff, we had a conversation about that. We had a conversation about that. And first of all, he is just, listen, everybody at The Real Deal is just gorgeous people, just like gorgeous, good people. And they were like, yeah, we interviewed them. We interviewed them because they have a point, and they deserve to have a voice in the conversation. But yeah, and so it's like, look, I mean, like, good for them. And you want to know what? Listen, The Real Deal has probably in the business, I mean, their Instagram is huge, and their live story coverage of the event was also great. You know, the reels that they do, and it's not even newsjacking, because like they have, you know, it's like their own.
They create the news.
They create the news, and they also do the newsjacking style posts of it too. I mean, it's very good. But
you know, I want to stop you real quick, because we got about 4 more minutes.
Okay, sorry.
I want to finish this conversation. So I want to finish this conversation on Tuesday, because there's there's a lot to go over about
PolicyPro and just like what I learned and yada yada.
And I think that's a more in-depth conversation than what we have for 4 minutes.
Absolutely.
Now, one of the questions I want to ask you is, who is a person that you wanted to meet or didn't know that you wanted to meet that you actually got the opportunity to talk to yesterday? Because this is networking on crack, right? It's networking on steroids. You get the opportunity to be in front of so many people that you've never been in front of before. and get to introduce yourself and find out what they do. So who is that one person for you?
I will be honest. I got so many business cards and I couldn't tell you her name right now. However, one of the exhibitors, who she's badass. I was talking to her, I'm like taking pictures of like all the things, and like there was a very nice young woman who had a nice coordinating outfit with this is a stupid story, but just hold on. Listen, I love it. I love it when the marketing girls wear a coordinating outfit. Okay. The marketing girls are working so freaking hard to have a coordinating outfit for the picture. And I, from one to another, I looked at her and I was like, hey, this is amazing. Can I take a picture of you? I see what's going on. And she was like, oh yeah. And then I started, I was talking to her about, their business and what they're doing and what they're trying to do and who are they there and trying to meet. And then I started talking to the older woman who was with her, who was their like head of everything. And so listen, there are just, the people who have tenure, the people who have success, the people that you can randomly meet. I'm just like, I intend to have a very long conversation with her about what it is like to be the head of everything as a woman in a business that is extremely cutthroat and competitive, because I intend to be extremely cutthroat and competitive. That's all I gotta say.
I really appreciated the fact that you were live tweeting, because that is one of my favorite things to do at an event when I remember to do it. And I don't usually I pick one session. So I pick one session that I'm at and I will take pictures, and then it's an entire thread of me just live tweeting what's happening and those things that I think people in our industry will find interesting, right? But it's also a great little thing to do so that you can go back now with AI. Think about this. Live tweeting is like note taking. You're going to go back into Grok if you have Premium or whatever Pro, right? And you're going to take that and you could create content for days.
How do you think I did this? We'll talk about that too. How I actually created the outline for this show. Notes in my phone, and I had Grok digest my tweets.
That's what you do. That's how you turn stuff that's happening live into content that you can use later. All right. We will see you back here on Tuesday. Same bat time, same bat channel. We are going to be talking about The Real Deal. And then on Thursday, we are going to have Mr. Corey Zelnick on the show. And we're going to be talking to him about something that I didn't know that he told Chris Okada on the red carpet at the real estate gala, that he is an investor. I don't know why I never thought about him being an investor, but he actually talked about some of the things that he's investing in. And we, of course, want to talk to him about retail in New York City. So that's next Thursday. On Tuesday, we're talking The Real Deal. I want you to walk out of that room with all of those hats on. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I know you. Keep going. One more?
Like 4 more.
Oh my gosh. Can we do it?
All right.
I hope they don't fall. There we go. We got it. All right. Thank you, DB. And we'll see you back here on Tuesday.